Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we make custom welding tags. So if you're somebody who does custom fabrication like me, or a welder, or what have you, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when you make a product and you sell it to the customer, there's an opportunity there to get repeat business. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. You see a lot of that with custom cutting boards and all those kind of things, where people just don't brand their stuff. And you also see a lot of that with welders. You know, if I have a welder come do something in the shop, I want their tag, I want their business card, I want their information, so that if they do a good job, well, next time they have the job, basically. So you're guaranteed, ongoing revenue that way. Now, these things are welding tags. There's two types. This is 304 stainless steel. They're both the same size, by the way. And this is black anodized aluminum. It's 3 inches by 1 inch, and they're 0.02 inches thick. So it's almost the thickness of, a little bit thicker than a piece of paper, a little bit thinner than a credit card. So maybe half the thickness of a credit card, if you want to look at it that way. Now, the thing that's important about these is not the cost or what we can do with them, it's the business they bring to you. So let's say you do a welding job and you give a guy a business card. Well, that business card will guaranteed be lost pretty soon after the job is done. Somebody put it, in a drawer or whatever, and it'll be gone. But if you put this right on the project itself, in this case here, there's holes so they can rivet it. But we also make them, without the holes so you can actually weld it to the actual project. Well, you're guaranteed whenever they look at, the amazing job that you did, there's your information, there's your website, there's your phone number, there's all the information they need to contact you and have you do other jobs. What I really like about anodized aluminum across a whole variety of different projects that we do here at CNCKing.com is that it doesn't hold on to heat, which means that you don't have to worry about warping from the laser. We get the opposite problem with our fiber laser on stainless steel, but on anodized aluminum, not an issue. The other nice thing about it is that we can get it in a whole bunch of different colors. So right now it's black, but if you wanted that green, blue, yellow, whatever, always keep in mind that when we do the laser engraving, it's always going to be an off-white. So you might be wondering, what's the difference between anodized aluminum and stainless steel? One, they're both metal, so that's one thing out of the way. So this is 304 stainless steel. See if I get the contrast right. And you can see the dark etching here. Now this is from the fiber laser source. And one of the things we always have to be careful with these specifically is that when we do the fiber laser etching on this gets actually hot and it starts to warp. So in this case here, let me see if you can see it a little bit, there's a very slight warp to it. And there's no real way around that. If you don't etch enough, you don't see the information clearly enough. And if you etch too much, well, then it just rolls right up. That's the nice thing about anodized aluminum. Anodized aluminum, we use our CO2 laser source. So the machine behind me here has a fiber laser and a CO2. So CO2 does this, fiber does this. And what the CO2 does hits the aluminum, and it doesn't build up any heat at all. So we can go really, really hard on these ones here, so to speak, throw lots of heat onto them, and they won't warp or bend or anything like that. We notice that really with welding tags, we do also little thinner ones, and those are the ones that really tend to warp on us. But the thicker, larger plates that we do as well, they don't tend to warp as much. Now the metal here is 304 stainless steel. We can also make these things out of 316 stainless steel if you need something that's extra resilient and corrosion proof. But you gotta keep in mind with stainless steel, there is definitely a cost factor involved with it. That's why generally when we do these tags, they're relatively thin. They're thin like a piece of paper, or they're thick like what you see here. These are actually about the thickness of a credit card. So since the founding of my company, my focus has been on custom fabrication. And what that means is, if you want this in stainless steel and you want a 12 gauge, or you want a 2 gauge, or you want a 22 gauge, we can do that for you, not a problem here in the shop for you. Same thing with anodized aluminum. If you want a different color, or you want a different shape or whatever, we can fabricate that for you as well. Now there are minimums involved with, the more custom you go, the higher the price per unit, therefore we got to increase the volume and bring the price per unit down. But you have endless options when it comes to this kind of work. Also, if you wanted, let's say, here we have the P and the electrical Thunderbolt, I guess. If you wanted that cut out and the rest etched or vice versa, we can do that for you just as easily. Again, every little bit of extra custom that we do gets your name out there in front of the customer. But for these kind of applications, we do thousands and thousands of these. So we get them mass produced, these are stamped. And as a result, they're very, very cost effective. And just think about it, you know, you spend a couple bucks for a tag, you weld it or you rivet it to your work, maybe a year or 2 or 3 down the line, you get another job, more than pays for this tag. So these tags are essentially free, if you think about it that way, as a way to promote your company. How do you go about getting these made? Contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.